एक बार जबान दी उस वाला वैसे आदमी थे वो। मुझे याद आता है मेरे गांव में जब आदरणीय उद्धव जी साहब के हाथ से शुभाष थे एक छोटा सा डैम रिजर्वायर बनाने की प्रयास किया तो उसको मान्यता मिली, पैसे की उपलब्धि चाहिए थी तो हफ्ते में देने की आदत होती ना सरकार की। मैंने उनसे कहा फिर काम नहीं होगा या और लटकेगा, ज्यादा नहीं है, 30-35-40 लाख तक है, पूरी अमाउंट दे दो ताकि लोगों को जो किसान अपनी जमीन देता है उसको वक्त पे पैसे मिलेगा। मुझे हाँ कह दिया और पैसा दे दिया। आज बहुत दुखी हूँ मैं, बहुत दुखी हूँ। मुझे हम कभी ऐसी राजनीति नहीं खेलते।
The wreckage that you see on your television screens is of that ill-fated aircraft. The Superintendent of Police Rural, Pune rural area, he's confirmed 5 people on board. 3 bodies have so far been sent to hospital for further action. Of course, officials on ground confirm there are no survivors, but officially it's only after hospital declares an individual dead is that process taken forward. So the SP rural in Pune said 3 bodies have been identified and taken to the hospital in Pune. The information that is available, around 8:45 this morning, the aircraft was coming into land. There were about 4 rallies and public meetings that Ajit Pawar was to address today. He participated in the cabinet meeting on Tuesday. Early morning, took this flight. The aircrew, we're told 2 aircrew, 3 others on board, and sadly, no survivors. We're still waiting for more information to come in. Information that we have at this stage seems to indicate Supriya Sule, she's rushing to Baramati. What we also know is Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunetra Pawar. We are also told the children, they are now rushing to Baramati. Supriya Sule, Sunetra Pawar, Parth Pawar, they were all at Sharad Pawar's residence. They are now all rushing to Baramati. The moment this information came in, Ajit Pawar's aircraft had crashed. The cause of the crash is still not known. Was it a smooth flight? The last moments of the conversation with the ATC, the aircraft was coming into land and just short of the runway, there was a crash. Fire tenders rushed to that area immediately. The local police have rushed to that area. That's the information that we are getting. More details are still awaited. Agencies are now confirming that Ajit Pawar is no more. The information that we have, according to eyewitnesses, the aircraft, just as it came into land, it crashed and then it broke into several 100 pieces, several thousand pieces. What we also know is there was a massive ball of fire as soon as the aircraft crashed. That's the information that's coming in. I quickly want to cut across to my colleague Deepesh Tripathi, who's joining us from Devendra Fadnavis's residence, the Chief Minister's residence. The Chief Minister has been informed. What more do we know, Deepesh?
Gaurav, yes, the CM Devendra Fadnavis has been informed about this tragic incident, and we are outside his official residence, Varsha Bungalow, where Revenue Minister of Maharashtra and a top leader from BJP, senior most leader from BJP, Chandrasekhar Bawankole, reached here. He'll meet to Devendra Fadnavis, and in a short span of time they will leave Varsha Bungalow, and what we are learning from our sources that they might go to Baramati as well. As of now, Eknath Shinde has cancelled all his program and he is leaving for Baramati, and right now CM Devendra Fadnavis is also inside the Varsha Bungalow, and he may also leave for Baramati with his leader. But definitely this is a very tragic incident which took place, and it's Ajit Pawar, not only a big name in the Maharashtra politics but in the country's politics, and he has been known for his punctuality and available for the people by 24/7. So definitely it's a big loss not only to the Pawar family but to the Maharashtra and to the nation politics as well. Gaurav.
Oh, absolutely. There's one aspect about him. He was someone who would take very bold decisions. He wasn't scared of taking decisions. He didn't follow his father in the film line. His father had worked very closely with noted filmmaker V. Shantaram. He instead followed his uncle Sharad Pawar into politics. So from the politics of sugar mills in Baramati to the Pune Cooperative Bank, then of course electoral politics, he was very clear. He wanted to follow in his uncle's footsteps, and Deepesh, he was very clear. One day he wanted to be Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He became Deputy Chief Minister several times, but his ultimate aim remained the big hot seat in Maharashtra, and he worked very hard towards it.
Yes, Gaurav, definitely. Many politicians are known for saying something and doing something, but Ajit Pawar was a kind of a personality who is known for his words, what in his heart is in his mouth, and what he says. So definitely, Ajit Pawar was very different kind of personality amongst all the politicians in the Maharashtra. And as we said, he's a very punctual of time. Many times it has happened that Ajit Pawar was reached before the time he was given to reach on a specific program or on a specific schedule. So definitely Ajit Pawar is not only the big name in the Maharashtra politics but in the country's politics, and he has said many times that he's the only person who has been deputy CM for the most of the time, and definitely he wanted to be the CM of the Maharashtra, but the conditions are not favorable, conditions are not supporting right now to be the CM of Maharashtra for Ajit Pawar. He expressed his words many times on the public platform as well, and today with a very heavy heart we are witnessing that right now Ajit Pawar is no more. He is not, his name will not be taken in the Maharashtra politics again, but he has done a lot of work for the Maharashtra, for the people of Pune, Baramati, Pimpri Chinchwad, especially where he's belong from. And today his we say what we don't have words actually to express our grief or express people griefs to this tragic incident, but he took his last breath, or he
Is there any
died
information
in
that's
the
available
Baramati.
in the CM office on what led to the crash? Of course, there will be an air crash investigation, as is the standard operating procedure. But in this case, any preliminary information came in, any distress signal that went up, the crash that took place virtually at the airport at the time of landing, what information do we have?
Gaurav, right now only we have received an official input about the plane that is crashed, and that plane was of VSG Ventures Learjet, which was carrying 5 passengers, 2 crew and 3 passengers, and that was landed on the runway during the approach. The crash was occurred during the land on the runway. There is a earlier incident also which has happened with this plane, and the investigation report was also reported on the same. Now the DGCA will issue the statement shortly regarding the incident, regarding the plane and all the incident what have happened as of now.
Indeed, this was a Learjet, considered a very safe aircraft by and large. We're told there were 2 pilots on board, 3 passengers on board. That's the information that we have, or an aircrew of 3 plus 2. The Superintendent of Police, Sandeep Singh, SP Rural, very basic preliminary information that was available. Manifest details and all are being gathered. 3 bodies or 3 injured people who were, according to the SP, there were injured people, grievously injured people. They were taken to the hospital. 2 others, it seems, were quite charred. We're still waiting for more details on that. But as you can see, the image of that aircraft, just as it came into land, it crashed, burst into flames, split into 1,000 pieces. As you can see there, crashed into fields. The fire brigade was called in, emergency services were called in. According to eyewitnesses, there weren't any survivors in this crash. Now, Ajit Dada Pawar, like we were telling you, extremely hardworking, heir apparent of the NCP. He was seen as someone who while he split from the NCP from Sharad Pawar, but then the family remained very close. Personally, Supriya Sule and Ajit Dada Pawar remained extremely close, even though he switched and then joined the Bharatiya Janata Party 2019-2024. First became Deputy Chief Minister just for a couple of hours. Of course, before that in the Congress government was also Deputy Chief Minister several times. He was Irrigation Minister several times, Rural Development. Now these were areas
परिषद चुनाव के रैली के लिए आ रहे थे, तभी 8:45 बजे ये हादसा हुआ है। यहाँ पर देखिए, ये प्राइवेट विमान है अजीत पवार जिससे आ रहे थे, और अजीत पवार इस हादसे में उनके समेत, अजीत पवार के समेत 5 लोगों की मौत होने की खबर जो है वो मिल रही है। यहाँ पर देखिए, ये विमान की हालत आप देख सकते हैं कि अब विमान में मलबा और धुएं के सिवा कुछ नहीं बचा है, क्योंकि अजीत पवार जो है, इस अजीत पवार सुबह ही बारामती पहुंच रहे थे बंबई से, और बंबई से पहुंचने से पहले ही, बारामती पहुंचने से पहले ही, बारामती विमानतल के भावपट्टी के पास ये विमान जो है क्रैश हुआ है। यहाँ पर देखिए कि जैसे जैसे लोगों को जानकारी मिल रही है, लोग जो है हादसे को देखने के लिए बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं, लोग आ रहे हैं। यहाँ पर दमकल विभाग की टीम भी पहुंच रही है। फिलहाल अजीत पवार इस हादसे में अपनी जान गंवाने की खबर मिल रही है। इसके साथ 2 क्रू मेंबर और 5 लोगों की मौत होने की जानकारी भी मिल रही है। फिलहाल अजीत पवार के परिवार के लोग जो है, परिवार के सभी लोग बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं। फिलहाल सुप्रिया सुले इन्होंने भी बताया कि वो बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं। इसके साथ अजीत पवार के दोनों बेटे भी हैं, वो भी बारामती हाट पहुंच रहे हैं।
Okay, India Today has accessed the occurrence report. India Today now has details of the occurrence report. I want to bring you details that says on the 28th of January 2026, the operator is VSR. The aircraft type is a Learjet 45. Aircraft registration is VT-SSK. Location in this occurrence report says location is Baramati Airport. Personnel on board 5 including aircrew. Details: aircraft crash landed at Baramati. The report now, for the first time, we get these details. The aircraft crash landed at Baramati. Shri Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister, Maharashtra, was on board along with 2 more personnel, and those 2 more personnel, we now have details: 1 PSO, his personal security officer, and 1 attendant, and an aircrew of 2 crew members. This says, as per initial information, according to the occurrence report, no person on board has survived this crash. That's the information that is coming in. India Today has accessed the occurrence report that's generated immediately after the crash. Operator VSR, aircraft type a Learjet 45, aircraft registration VT-SSK. That's the VT-SSK Learjet that you see on your television screen. It crash landed. Now, why did it crash land at the airport is a matter of investigation. And as you can see, this was a terrible crash. Almost nothing even of the aircraft, except of course the rear portion, the tail fin is visible. Everything else virtually mangled and burnt and charred at the Baramati airport. Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister, Maharashtra, on board with 1 personal security officer and 1 attendant and 2 crew. Initial information seems to indicate there are no survivors. I once again want to play out. Sahil Joshi now joins me with more on this big story. Sahil, this is terrible news coming in this morning. Ajit Pawar no more.
Well, it's completely shocking because there was a lot of politics still left for Ajit Pawar's political journey. He has been the maximum time Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He's the one who presented the maximum number of budgets in Maharashtra Assembly as a Minister of Finance. But at the same time, he in his new role as Chief of Nationalist Congress Party, he has just spent 3 years as we can see, and more than that. Very interestingly, after the municipal corporation elections, Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar fractions were in talks to come together and finally merge the party again. Whatever had happened in 2023, they wanted to put it behind their political journey and they wanted to move forward with the United Front. But before that, Ajit Pawar's sudden demise like this has definitely shocked the political landscape of Maharashtra. I'm hearing right now that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. At the same time, Amit Shah, the Home Minister of India, has also spoken to Devendra Fadnavis about the future course to be taken there. At the same time, Supriya Sule, Sunetra Pawar, Ajit Pawar's wife, who is also a Rajya Sabha MP, and his son Parth Pawar, who all of them were in Delhi for the budget session, have flown together from Delhi to Pune. They will also be reaching Baramati by late afternoon today. Sharad Pawar is in Mumbai, and he's also likely to move towards Baramati in a while. But rest of the NCP cadre, the leaders, the MLAs and other MPs are also trying to reach to Baramati as early as possible. The whole political landscape of not only the Nationalist Congress Party, but also the opposition space, also the space inside the government, because there are a lot of other things needs to be thought about, because Ajit Pawar was not only the leader of NCP, but he was also part of the government. His party had supported the government. He was the deputy chief minister. So also what role NCP will have in future in the government will also needs to be thought of. But all these things will be later. But at this point of time, it's the most shocking story in the Maharashtra's political history,
and
as we can hear.
Sahil, even when the NCP split, it may have split politically. Personally, the families were very close. Supriya Sule, Ajit Dada Pawar, respect for Sharad Pawar, all of that remained very strong throughout, didn't it, Sahil?
Absolutely. In fact, when the party split politically, I mean, the family also split for a while. I remember in 2023, Sharad Pawar families, Pawar has a big extended family.
Yes.
They always used to spend Diwali days together. But that was the first time, I could see in 2023 that they did not spend Diwali together. Ajit Pawar and Supriya Sule and Sharad Pawar couldn't even meet eye to eye at that particular time. But after that, once the elections were over, because there was a bit of fight within the family in 2024 Lok Sabha elections when Sunetra Pawar and Supriya Sule had a bit of fight for the Lok Sabha. And after that, what I could see is that, again, the family reunion started. They could converse with each other. They could reach out to each other. Recently, when Sharad Pawar's 85th birthday was celebrated in Delhi, even then, Ajit Pawar flew down to Delhi from Nagpur when he was busy with the winter session in Maharashtra and was part of the party thrown by Supriya Sule at Sharad Pawar's residence in Delhi. Just 15 days back, I did his interview during the municipal corporation elections. And in that interview also, he had spoken about the Maharashtra politics and specifically mentioning that how the politics is rapidly changing. At the same time, he also made it a point to say that how the political compulsions have now kind of forcing both the NCP fractions to come together. A lot of leaders from NCP SP are also speaking to him. And once the elections are over, it is likely that they will take these talks forward. That was also his specific remark. So, all these things are were very important. Unfortunately, Ajit Pawar could not get that particular time because he was flying to Baramati from Mumbai because the Zilla Parishad elections, the district corporation elections will be happening in next 10-15 days in Maharashtra. And so for the campaigning, and most of these elections were happening in Western Maharashtra. So obviously, for the campaigning, he was moving towards Western Maharashtra belt and he wanted to land in Baramati. And from there, by road, he was about to travel to the Western Maharashtra. But unfortunately, that is not going to happen. So there are multiple questions, Gaurav, at this point of time. What is going to happen to the NCP's support to the government? Who is going to be the next deputy chief minister. Is anybody going to fill in his shoes? What happens to the NCP merger? What happens to that space? Will both the fractions come together?
How
What will
best
happen?
will Ajit Dada Pawar be remembered? The fact that he didn't follow his father in the film line, he followed his uncle into politics. He was very clear. His representation of Baramati, from sugar mills to cooperative banks to irrigation minister to finance minister to his dream to be chief minister. How will he be remembered, Sahil?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people, specifically people like Ajit Pawar, who has a record of being the 5 times deputy chief minister of Maharashtra. So just one step behind becoming the chief minister. He had that chance, but unfortunately, he couldn't get it. He couldn't switch over at the right time, so Eknath Shinde got it. So politically speaking, he would be remembered as somebody the chief minister Maharashtra could never see. But at the same time, there have been a lot of controversies around him. The whole 2014 campaign, he became a kind of a poster boy for the BJP, that what actually went wrong with the Congress NCP government. And from there, he was just trying to...
Though he was cleared of it. Go on.
Though he was never charged for it. Of course, the cases are still going on. But at the same time, he then finally became part of the same government with the BJP. But I think he will be remembered for a lot of other things as well. His pull over the administration was always talked about. He understood how the government functions, how the government machinery functions, how the government officials function, how to get the work done from the government officials. At the same time, I would definitely say that he would always be remembered as somebody, as a chief minister, which Maharashtra could never see, because whenever he had an opportunity, somebody else got the opportunity. I remember once when Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, both of them were sitting on the dais and Ajit Pawar was making a speech. He made it a point to say that among all three of us, I am the one who has the maximum experience. I'm in the politics since 1991, because that is the first time when he got elected from Pune Lok Sabha, Baramati Lok Sabha constituency as member of parliament. And then he came back to Maharashtra once Sharad Pawar switched over as a defense minister in the national politics. But till then, he started in 1991. Then he said that Devendra Fadnavis first entered into Maharashtra Assembly in 1999. Eknath Shinde entered Maharashtra Assembly in 2004. But despite that, both of them got an opportunity to become the chief minister of Maharashtra. Before him, 2014, Devendra Fadnavis, 2022, Eknath Shinde, but he's still a man in awaiting. Awaiting.
Absolutely. The best man, and sadly not the groom, and now he is no more. Sahil, many thanks for joining me. I also want to bring into this conversation Milind Khandekar, managing editor, Tux, somebody who knows Maharashtra politics like the back of his hand. Milind, welcome. This is a very, very sad day. One of the tallest leaders when it comes to Maharashtra politics and the NCP is no more. How would he be remembered, Milind?
See, Gaurav, he would be remembered as somebody who was always waiting to be a chief minister. But he was a people's leader. We thought that he actually inherited the legacy of Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar is now at the fag of his career. He's almost thinking about his retirement. Ajit Pawar sort of rebelled from Sharad Pawar, his own party, went with BNNDA. And the assembly election in 2024 proved that, he is the true NCP, or he has the true legacy of Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar's own party couldn't do well. So he was somebody
Milind,
who was always
just give me a moment. C.R. Patil is reacting against somebody who knew Ajit Dada Pawar very well. Listen in.
और महाराष्ट्र को भी क्षति है, और महाराष्ट्र को आज तक के पॉलिटिकल जो उनके समय में कभी भी उनको अवॉइड करके कोई भी अपना पॉलिटिक्स नहीं कर सकता था, वो संभव भी नहीं था। आज अचानक जाने की वजह से सभी समीकरण बदल जाएंगे। और मुझे विश्वास है कि जो हुआ है वो बहुत बुरा हुआ है, मगर उनकी जो फैमिली है उनको इस हादसे से बाहर उभरने के लिए एक ताकत मिले, भगवान।
C.R. Patil again, recounting his association with Ajit Dada Pawar. Milind, apologies for interrupting, but again, your interactions with Ajit Pawar? They were extensive throughout your stint in Maharashtra. Very approachable for journalists.
Yes, he was. I would say he was initially very shy on camera, but he was always willing to speak the record or of the camera. He would always speak. But Gaurav, as I said earlier, that he was the true inheritor of Sharad Pawar. He was in politics for last 35 odd years. He became the member of parliament in 1991. Then he gave up, and then he always focused on Maharashtra. So he has been member of assembly since 1991, and he was a very, what you call as a politician who had pulse of the people. He was always connected with people. He was always on the ground. Because Sharad Pawar in last 25 years was more or less he was into the national politics. And Ajit Pawar was the man who was running his politics on the ground. He was running the party with the nuts and bolts, which as I told you, that he was always the second choice. He could never become chief minister. NCP also couldn't get a chief minister, but Ajit Pawar had a chance in 2004. Also, the NCP got more seats, and there was a chance that he could become chief minister. But Sharad Pawar always preferred Congress to the chief minister candidate. So, despite now in 2022, we saw he rebelled and joined the NDA alliance.
Yeah.
He became the deputy chief minister. So everybody thought that still he will one day will come when Maharashtra will see Ajit Pawar as chief minister, but that date, Gaurav, will never come now for what we saw this morning, which is very terrible, and I can't still sort of recover from what has happened.
Oh, absolutely. And what happens to the NCP now? Because after recent local body elections, there was some conversation that all the factions would merge, NCP would become one family again.
So, Gaurav, it's too early, but now it is logical because if I would want to tell our audience that what happened in 2022, that NCP broke into two parts. Sharad Pawar stayed with India Alliance with Congress Party, and Ajit Pawar took majority of MLAs and he joined the government of NDA in Maharashtra. But now, even in the assembly election, they fought separately. But now, when it came to saving their own turf in Pune, which is their Pune and Baramati is their turf. So both the fraction of the NCP fought together against BJP. Though they couldn't win the election, BJP still won the election. But both NCP SP, which is NCP Sharad Pawar and NCP Ajit Pawar, they fought together, and that was the first sign that the families are coming together. So it was expected that in some time in coming days or months, we could have seen a unified NCP.
Because there was
Now,
some buzz around it. And Milind, just hold that thought for a moment. I am coming back to you. But Hassan Mushrif is reacting. Maharashtra Minister Giriraj Singh also reacting. Let me quickly play that out.
You hail from the state of Maharashtra. You have worked with Ajit Pawar. Extremely unfortunate news coming for the state and for the family.
Oh, absolutely. Ajit Pawarji was a very committed leader for the state of Maharashtra. His commitment was total for the state and for the progress of the state. His work style, working from right 6 a.m. in the morning till late night, showed that commitment, was a reflection of what he believed in. And for him to go the way he has is very unfortunate, and so soon is extremely, extremely painful for, I think, for not just me as a person who may have been opposed to him but had got a chance to work with him and have seen how he has worked, and his commitment was total. I think it's a huge, huge loss for the state of Maharashtra, and I would want to express my condolences to people of Baramati, to the people of Maharashtra, as well as the Pawar family. They were extremely close-knit. Pawar Saab always treated him like his son. Supriya was very close to him as a brother-sister relationship. So I offer them my condolences. I wish them all the strength, whether it's Sunetra ji, who's a colleague of mine in the Rajya Sabha, Parth Pawar, Jay Pawar, and the entire Pawar family. They were all close-knit, and his going would be a big loss for them as well. उनका उनका जो कमिटमेंट था काम को लेकर, महाराष्ट्र को लेकर, अपने पक्ष को लेकर, पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को लेकर, बारामती को लेकर, वो बहुत ही सभी जन उसकी प्रशंसा करते थे और उनके काम की प्रशंसा करते थे। हार्ड वर्किंग, कमिटेड थे। सवेरे 6 बजे से रात के लेट तक काम करने का उनकी कार्यशैली रही है। तो ये जो खबर आई है बहुत ही दुखद है और हमारे मतभेद जरूर रहे होंगे, पर मुझे उनके साथ काम करने का मौका मिला एंड आई थिंक महाराष्ट्र के लिए गंभीर चोट आई है। इट्स अ बिग लॉस। उनका जो विजन था महाराष्ट्र के लिए, ही ब्राइट आइडियाज, बिग आइडियाज फॉर महाराष्ट्र, तो उनका इस तरीके से जाना बेहद ही दर्दनाक है। और मैं सुप्रिया जी को, पवार साहब, क्योंकि वो एकदम उनको अपना बेटे समान मानते थे, सुप्रिया अपने भाई के समान मानती थी, चाहे वो सुनेत्रा जी हों, मैं सभी को अपनी संवेदनाएं व्यक्त करना चाहूंगी।
आप बहुत भावुक हो गई हैं प्रियंका जी। आपने काम भी उनके साथ किया है और आपका ये कहना है कि आपके रिलेशनशिप बहुत अच्छे रहे हैं अजीत पवार जी के साथ।
नहीं, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगी कि बहुत अच्छे रहे, पर
And now we have some more details that are coming in. What happened just moments before that crash at the Baramati airport? So the aircraft was cleared for landing. That's the information that we are able to get. It was cleared for landing on runway 27. But the aircraft, for some reason, kept drifting. It kept drifting right during landing, and then there was an alert just 40 seconds after the autopilot snapped. There was an alert that went out, and the flight, it crash landed. The moment it crash landed, the information that we have is that the fuselage, it just it exploded into many pieces. There was a massive ball of fire as soon as the plane crashed. Now, efforts were made to evacuate those on board. They were very grievously injured. The information that we have, and this is information that's just coming in at 113,133 UTC, the crew had runway in sight and they decided to land on runway 27. The aircraft kept continuing to drift on runway 27 and it moved instead of the runway towards apron C, and within 40 seconds the autopilot was disconnected. The stick shaker alert sounded in the cockpit, accompanied by the stall warning. Thereafter, warnings were generated and the aircraft crash landed not on the runway, sadly on the shoulder of the intersection. Nitin Gadkari speaking. Listen in.
और विकास की दृष्टि रखने वाले ऐसे वो नेता थे। उनके जाने से बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। उनके परिवार को भी काफ़ी उनके ऊपर भी एक बड़ा हादसा हुआ है। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान उनको ये जो घटना हुई है इसका दुख सहन करने की ताकत दे। मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से और पार्टी के तरफ से महाराष्ट्र के इस पुराने सहयोगियों को मैं श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ। भगवान उनके आत्मा को शांति दे, यही ईश्वर चरणों में प्रार्थना करता हूँ। नमस्कार।
Minister Nitin Gadkari is describing him as a long-time old associate in politics. He says it's a massive loss to politics of Maharashtra. He was someone who worked relentlessly for development of his people. Ajit Dada Pawar, popularly known as Dada to people in Baramati, those who worked very closely with him, and he never shied away from hard work. He would be very, very early at any place where he was supposed to go. He started his day very early, worked for the betterment of his voters in Baramati, for the people of Baramati, worked extensively as irrigation minister, as finance minister to ensure Baramati, the area that both Sharad Pawar initially and then he were nurturing, was looked after well. At least that was the effort. So the information that we were getting just a short while back, and Onkar Wable, my colleague who's got all these details, will join us in just a moment. So when the aircraft was coming in to land, it kept veering right. Instead of landing on runway 27, it actually landed on the shoulder of the intersection of taxiway W and taxiway whiskey is W and Y is Yankee is what is the information that we are getting. And unfortunately, that is where this aircraft burst into flames and split into many, many pieces. Now, Sanjay Lazar is a very well-respected aviation expert. He joins me on this broadcast. Sanjay, welcome. It's a terrible day. How do you look at it? How do you look at the information that's coming in? And, the Learjet 45, the history of the aircraft and the initial information of the crash.
Thank you, Gaurav, for having me on your show. It's a very, very sad day. Ironically, I am just 10 kilometers from that airport. I live in the Baramati district, and
Yes.
it's a bright sunny day. So I really, cannot understand what could have happened. I heard what you said. The Learjet 45, as we know, is a very safe aircraft with a great track record. We also know that pilots who fly for the chief minister and deputy chief minister, cabinet ministers are highly qualified, skilled, trained pilots. So, this could only have been a last minute malfunction that could have happened, because Baramati Airport, let's understand, is not a rural back of beyond airport. It's got 2 flying schools. It's got a number of aircrafts that work, and it's been around for over 25, 30 years. I've visited it a number of times.
Yes.
There are flying academies there. And, this is so tragic and heartbreaking for, Baramati constituency where I am, for Pune, for Maharashtra. And, my heart goes out, condolences to the family, Pawar family, as well as the people of this area. It's a very sad day.
Indeed, and to the families of the pilots, the PSO, the attendant, there were 5 on board. And stay with me for a moment, Sanjay. Let me also bring in Onkar Vable, and Milind Khandekar also is back with us on this broadcast. Onkar, you've been speaking to your sources in aviation. What more do we know? Okay, Onkar, give me a second. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just taken to social media platform X to put out a message. The Prime Minister, in his condolence message, says Shri Ajit Pawar ji was a leader of the people, having a very strong grassroots level connect. He was widely respected as a hard-working personality at the forefront of serving people of Maharashtra. His understanding of administrative matters and passion for empowering the poor and the downtrodden were also noteworthy. His untimely demise is very shocking and saddening. Condolences to his family and countless admirers. Om Shanti. That's the message from Prime Minister Narendra Modi that's just been put out, with images of the Prime Minister with late Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Dada Pawar. Politics apart, ever since Ajit Pawar became a part of the NDA, was working as Deputy Chief Minister, his effort was, from what people close to him, Milind, tell us, was always betterment of the people of Baramati. Milind, as Deputy Chief Minister, as Finance Minister, a larger vision for entire Maharashtra, Milind? Your interactions with him?
Yeah, definitely, Gaurav. He had a larger vision, and he believed that he needs power to sort of serve people. That was the justification he gave to his supporter when he switched to NDA in 2022 by breaking away from his uncle. So he always believed that you need power to serve people, and he would work with his MLAs or with all the parties that what projects can be done, how can you. And one more thing, he publicly said this, that, this is that he never believed in these freebies. So that Maharashtra saw a cash transfer scheme when it was proposed. He was not convinced about it. He said that no, as a finance minister, as a very prudent public servant, he never believed that you should give the freebies. So that was his vision. He was more for the infrastructure, more for the education, not for the freebies. That was also one of the way he would. His politics was all about. And as Prime Minister has just now said, that he was connected with the people. He was a people's man, because as I said earlier, he was Sharad Pawar's man on the field, on the ground. Sharad Pawar was busy for last 20 odd years in the national politics, especially since 2004. Ajit Pawar was the man who was running the party in Maharashtra, in Baramati. So go to man Maharashtra, and he had those relations. Sharad Pawar was of a nephew and an uncle. But Sharad Pawar also treated him like his son. He had only one daughter, and
Yes.
Dada, which is big brother for Supriya, was big brother to everybody. So everybody called him Ajit Dada.
Everybody called him Ajit Dada. Stay with me. I quickly want to bring in Onkar Wable if we have connection back with him as he travels to Baramati, to this crash site. Onkar, your sources in aviation, give us details of what were the final moments of this aircraft, what led to the crash.
Total five members were flying in the same chartered plane. Three were crew, and one of the helper of Ajit Pawar was the attendant of Ajit Pawar was there with him. But Ajit Pawar, before the landing, it almost took 40 to 60 seconds, and the crash happened. So he did not get exact time. Now team of airport authority is moving towards Baramati. They'll start investigation. Now the crash area is covered by the police, because law and order issue could be there, because a lot of followers of Ajit Pawar gathered on the site. So now airport authorities are reaching on the spot. They'll go ahead with the investigation. They'll collect some clues and everything, because the conversation between pilot and the air traffic controller has already been recorded. So now authorities are cross-verifying exactly what he was trying to say, and the technical data will come out after that. Gaurav.
The technical data, and stay with me, let me also bring in Mr. Sanjay Lazar into this conversation. The flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder would have the tech aspects of what happened in the final moments. But what's that bigger picture that you are able to piece together when the autopilot disconnected or became disengaged? And suddenly the aircraft veered right. Instead of landing on runway 27, it actually landed on the shoulder of the runway and the apron.
Gaurav, where it does appear, from what you're saying, that either they lost control of the aircraft, or there was a huge gust of wind or something. But I'm in Baramati district myself. I'm not too far from the airport. It's an absolute clear, still day. So I can't, unless over the airport itself there was, something unusual, I can't speculate there. But interesting that, what your reporter says. Of course, we look at the visuals on your screen and we can see there's a melee there. There's so many people. I hope they're not, damaging the evidence. And,
Yes.
it has to be sanitized. Obviously, the DGCA and the AIB will be, on their way there. The investigators will have to wait till the black box is recovered to analyze what happened. But like you say, you've got information that the autopilot was disengaged and then the aircraft veered. Either it was, wind or just some malfunction that caused it to veer off the runway and crash into the shoulder. Baramati is a very advanced airport amongst the secondary, third, tertiary airports.
Sir, give me a moment. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is reacting. Listen in.
मैंने बात की सुप्रिया जी से भी और उनकी मैसेज से भी.
So we're still waiting for more reactions to come in on this, and truly a tragic day. Onkar, your sources in the DGCA and of course in the ATC in Baramati were giving some information about the autopilot getting disengaged, the aircraft veering right, landing on the apron instead of the runway, and suddenly crashing. There was almost no reaction time even for the pilots, because when it's coming into land, it's quite fast. The speeds are very fast, and there are very few measures that you can take once you've decided you're coming into land in those final seconds.
Well, exactly as I said, pilot just got 40 to 60 seconds to switch from the autopilot, and that could be one of the possibility of this crash. So now authorities are investigating. They'll collect the evidences from the ground. Black box will be there, and after that the exact information will come out. But the main thing is, weather was clear. Look, since the beginning there were some possibilities that the weather issues could be there, but it was not like that, because weather was clear. So there must be some technical issue during the landing, because it actually crashed exactly edge of the edge of the landing site. So that is why authorities are reaching there. They'll collect the evidences, and after that, everything will come out. Gaurav sir.
Oh, absolutely. In this tenure, Ajit Dada Pawar became the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra on the 5th of December in 2024 for the 6th time. He took oath at a grand ceremony in Mumbai. He'd actually fortified his position in the politics of Maharashtra. He stepped out of the shadow of his uncle Ajit Pawar. He'd actually, of Sharad Pawar, he'd nurtured Baramati, looked after Baramati right from 1991. That's the time that, the moment Sharad Pawar came into national politics as defense minister, it was Ajit Pawar. Many saw him as the heir apparent. Many saw him as the inheritor also of the legacy. And though Supriya Sule and Ajit Pawar, politically, once he split in 2022 from the NCP and he became the NCP, so to say, his message to his voters were very clear. Okay, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal reacting. Listen.
कैसे इतना बड़ा हादसा हुआ, हमारे घनिष्ठ मित्र थे, हमारी सरकार में अहम पद पर थे, सहयोगी थे, महाराष्ट्र के बड़े ऊंचे स्तर के नेता और हम सबके प्रिय अजीत दादा नहीं रहे.
Evolving and a developing situation, we should await an official confirmation on what really.
So wait for an official confirmation of what actually happened is what Manish Tiwari of the Congress party is saying. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, he's condoled Ajit Dada Pawar's death. We have some sketchy details of what happened in those final moments just as the aircraft came into land. But he started off very early. He attended the meeting till late yesterday in Mumbai, then flew very early to Baramati, had a series of rallies and meetings ahead of the local body elections, Nikai Chunav, that he was very keen on fortifying the NCP's position. Again, these were elections, these local body elections where both factions of the NCP, Sharad Pawar and Ajit Dada Pawar, were quite contesting in a way together, supporting each other, and this led to intense speculation whether after the split, where he also gave reasons for the split, he said to serve people you have to be in power, and if the BJP or the NDA are in power, then he wanted to be in power to serve the people. But this was not to be in terms of whether he could finally be chief minister or not, an ambition that he'd nurtured for very long. In fact, recently in Maharashtra, he had also said so himself. He had said that, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis who came into politics after him, remember Ajit Pawar came into active politics in 1991. Both Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde came much later, late 1990s and early 2000s. But both had a chance at the had a go at the top hot seat in Maharashtra as chief minister. Ajit Pawar had to wait. He was seen as perpetually waiting. Was deputy chief minister for a very, very long time. We're getting some family images of the family and supporters. Rohit Pawar is en route Baramati. En route Baramati, now at the hospital, now finally at the hospital where the bodies were taken. Initially they said that there may be survivors, as the SP Rural Mumbai, SP Rural Pune, Sandeep Singh, he said 3 were grievously injured when they were rushed to hospital. But sources at the hospital said there were no survivors. Everyone was brought dead. My colleague Preeti Chaudhary also joins me on this broadcast. And Preeti, a very, very sad day for not just the NCP and the Sharad Pawar family, but for politics of Maharashtra. Quite a tall leader suddenly gone.
Well, at least where the Pawar family was concerned, Gaurav, you had Ajit Pawar, fondly called Ajit Dada, who was the face of the Pawars after Sharad Pawar, where local Maharashtra politics is concerned. It was very clear, over the years that the division had been made where the Pawar family was concerned. Supriya Sule would be the face at the center, and Ajit Dada Pawar would be the one who would be taking the Pawar legacy where the state of Maharashtra is concerned. Those visuals that are coming on heartbreaking visuals for the family of Pawars. You have Rohit Pawar, who is the nephew of Ajit Pawar. Clearly a somber moment for him, going in where the bodies of the those who have perished in this aircraft have been kept. Ajit Pawar's own son, Parth Pawar, is still in the national capital. Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunitra Pawar, is an Rajya Sabha MP. Supriya Sule, his cousin sister, the daughter of Sharad Pawar, is in the national capital as All right, let's listen in to Mr. Sanjay Raut from the Shiv Sena Uddhav faction.
आणि अजितदादा पवार हे सही सलामत त्या अपघातातून बाहेर आले. पण दुर्दैवानं ही धक्कादायक आणि दुःखद बातमी आमच्या कानावर आली. अजितदादा पवार यांच्याशिवाय महाराष्ट्राचं राजकारण, समाजकारण हे बेचव आणि आळणी होईल. त्यांचं व्यक्तिमत्व गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासून आपण पाहतो. दिलखुलास, रोखठोक, कार्यकर्त्यांना हवाहवासा वाटणारा नेता. त्यांच्या जाण्यानं महाराष्ट्रावर दुःखाचा डोंगर कोसळलेला आहे. त्यांचं बोलणं, त्यांच्या कामाची पद्धत, त्यांची प्रशासनावरची पकड, या सगळ्या गोष्टी महाराष्ट्राच्या मनात कायम राहतील. बारामती आणि त्यांचं एक नातं होतं आणि त्याच बारामतीमध्ये त्यांना मृत्यू यावा हा एक विचित्र योगायोग. श्रद्धांजली त्यांना कधी व्हावी लागेल असं कधी मनात आलं. त्यांनी त्यांच्या पद्धतीचं राजकारण केलं. उद्धव ठाकरे यांच्या मंत्रिमंडळात अजित पवार हे उपमुख्यमंत्री होते आणि उद्धव ठाकरे मुख्यमंत्री असताना उद्धव ठाकरे यांचं म्हणणं होतं की कॅबिनेटला पूर्ण तयारी करून येणारे ते मंत्री होते. राज्याच्या प्रश्नांचा त्यांना अभ्यास, विशेषतः पाटबंधारे, पाणी या संदर्भात त्यांचा अभ्यास पक्का होता. शैक्षणिक क्षेत्रात त्यांचं काम राहिलं. शरद पवारांनी त्यांना राजकारणात आणलं आणि नंतर गेल्या
All right, politicians cutting across party lines are expressing their condolences on a very, very somber moment today. Because sadly, Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, has been killed on board that private jet that he was flying in to Baramati. He, alongside 5 others, initial information seems to suggest his PSO, his OSD, and the crew of that chartered jet have all perished in this plane crash. It was landing at the Baramati airstrip, and what we've been given to understand, there was already an emergency landing which was being prepared for this aircraft, and even before it touched the tarmac, we have been told by eyewitness accounts that the jet burst into a ball of fire. Every person on board was declared bought dead and charred beyond recognition, and sadly, what we can confirm, the news was confirmed by the DGCA itself that the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Ajit Pawar, who was on board that flight, also perished in that air crash. Since then, where the national capital is concerned. We have Sunetra Pawar, who is the wife of Ajit Pawar, his son Parth Pawar. They are all at Sharad Pawar's residence with Supriya Sule. Tragic scenes coming in from the Pawar residence as well. They will be taking a private jet and flying into Baramati. Lots of reactions, condolences coming in, but let's get in a sense of what we are hearing from ground. Lots of eyewitness accounts. Listen in.
महाराष्ट्र के बारामती में आज बेहद ही दुखद घटना हुई है, जहां डिप्टी सीएम अजीत पवार, इनका विमान जो है क्रैश हुआ है आज बारामती में। अजीत पवार जो है जिला परिषद चुनाव के रैली के लिए आ रहे थे, तभी 8:45 बजे ये हादसा हुआ है। यहाँ पर देखिए, ये प्राइवेट विमान है अजीत पवार जिससे आ रहे थे, और अजीत पवार इस हादसे में उनके समेत, अजीत पवार के समेत 5 लोगों की मौत होने की खबर जो है वो मिल रही है। यहाँ पर देखिए, ये विमान की हालत आप देख सकते हैं कि अब विमान में मलबा और धुएं के सिवा कुछ नहीं बचा है, क्योंकि अजीत पवार जो है, अजीत पवार सुबह ही बारामती पहुंच रहे थे बंबई से, और बंबई से पहुंचने से पहले ही, बारामती पहुंचने से पहले ही बारामती विमानतल के भावपट्टी के पास ये विमान जो है क्रैश हुआ है। यहाँ पर देखिए कि जैसे जैसे लोगों को जानकारी मिल रही है, लोग जो है हादसे को देखने के लिए बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं, लोग आ रहे हैं। यहाँ पर दमकल विभाग की टीम भी पहुंच रही है। फिलहाल अजीत पवार इस हादसे में अपनी जान गंवाने की खबर मिल रही है। इसके साथ 2 क्रू मेंबर और 5 लोगों की मौत होने की जानकारी भी मिल रही है। फिलहाल अजीत पवार के परिवार के लोग जो है, पवार परिवार के सभी लोग बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं। फिलहाल सुप्रिया सुले, इन्होंने भी बताया कि वो बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं। इसके साथ अजीत पवार के 2 बेटे भी हैं, वो भी बारामती पहुंच रहे हैं। इस हादसे में अजीत पवार समेत 5 लोगों की मौत की खबर आ रही है। फिलहाल अभी तक प्रशासन की ओर से इसकी पुष्टि नहीं हो पा रही है, पर यहाँ पर बहुत सारे बारामती वासी जो है, ये बारामती वासी यहाँ पर पहुंचे हैं। सुबह ही अजीत पवार मुंबई से बारामती के लिए निकले थे, और आज चुनावी सभा को संबोधित करने के लिए अजीत पवार आ रहे थे बारामती, पर यह हादसा हुआ है, भयानक हादसा हुआ है। और भयानक हादसे में ये दर्दनाक हादसे में अजीत पवार समेत 5 लोगों की जान गंवाने की खबर आ रही है।
What can be confirmed, eyewitness accounts now suggest that there were 7 people on board that ill-fated aircraft, along with the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Ajit Pawar. So 7 that have perished in that crash. We're going to get you details. More news coming in right now. The latest news break that is filtering in as I speak, coming in terms of the lens right now, where the DGCA is concerned, is on the safety standards of aircraft. We're going to break that news in just about a minute from now. But all right, so the flight crash landed, fuselage broke into pieces. That's the latest news that is coming in. The lens on poor safety record of Ajit Pawar's plane. Same Learjet plane had crashed in September 2023. In 2023, the aircraft cleared for landing in Mumbai, kept drifting right during landing. An alert rang 40 seconds after autopilot snapped. The flight crashed, landing, and the fuselage broke into many pieces. A massive fire had broken out after the plane crashed. Well, it seems that the same jet that the Deputy Chief Minister was on board had a terrible safety record, raising many questions on how was it that this Learjet was still flying, was still being chartered, was still being allowed to take off and land, especially where it had an incident in 2023 where it had crashed. Luckily at that time, those on board had survived. However, this particular aircraft continues to be in operation. We're going to get into the details of that, but listen in to Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Eknath Shinde.
माझ्यापेक्षा ते राजकारणात देखील अनुभवी होते. गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासूनचा त्यांचा अनुभव, वयाने देखील माझ्यापेक्षा ते मोठे होते माझे आणि अनुभवाने देखील, आणि म्हणून त्यांना राज्यातल्या अनेक विषयांचा गाढा अभ्यास होता. अनेक विभाग त्यांनी हाताळले होते. याचा राज्याला फायदा होत होता. मंत्रिमंडळात देखील ज्यावेळेस काही विषय यायचे त्यावेळेस आपल्या राज्याची आर्थिक परिस्थिती अशी आहे, आपल्याला सर्वांना काटकसर करावी लागेल अशी अगदी निर्भीडपणे सांगणारे अजितदादा देखील आम्ही अनुभवलेत. शिस्तीचा नेता म्हणूनही आम्ही अनुभवलेला आहे आणि त्यामुळे त्यांच्या जाण्याने फक्त पवार कुटुंबियांचंच नाही तर संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्राचं न भरून येणारं नुकसान झालेलं आहे. आणि माझ्यापेक्षा वयाने मोठे असल्यामुळे जे काय आमची गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासून त्यामुळे राजकारणातले आम्ही तिघजण टीम म्हणून काम करत असलो तरी सुद्धा
And even now, in the politics, we three brothers used to work together. And Ajit Pawar has always been my elder brother. But this now, after his demise, the hollow space will not be recovered. I would like to pay grief to Ajit Pawar. I'm very saddened after listening his news.
डोंगरा एवढं दुःख आहे. ही क्षमता ईश्वराने
I am with his family members and I hope
संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्र
God will help his family to digest the sorrow.
हा, मी आणि मुख्यमंत्री देखील आम्ही जातो आहे. आमचे सहकारी आमच्यातून गेलेत.
Me and Chief Minister will leave to Baramati soon. We had to attend some political rallies and some programs today, but we already cancelled all the programs.
असं काही एक त्यांच्या किंवा अशी काही त्यांची एखादी योजना किंवा एखादं त्यांना करायचं होतं की तुमच्याशी त्यांनी शेअर केली आपण हे करूया मिळून महाराष्ट्रासाठी?
नाही, आम्ही आतापर्यंत एकत्र जेव्हा तेही उपमुख्यमंत्री होते तेव्हा मी मंत्रिमंडळात, मी मुख्यमंत्री असतानाही उपमुख्यमंत्री होते. आता देवेंद्रजी मुख्यमंत्री.
When he used to be a deputy chief minister, I was part of the government. I was minister in his government.
मिळूनच घ्यायचो आणि मग एकदा एखादी सूचना आली की मग त्याला
all decisions we took together.
अजितदादा देखील एकदा कधी
and always all of three supported different decisions of Ajit Pawar.
अर्थव्यवस्था महाराष्ट्राची आहे, काही नवीन योजना केल्यामुळे आपल्याला काटकसर करावी लागेल, पण जेव्हा काही निर्णय आपल्याला घ्यावेच लागतील त्यावेळेस मात्र ते मागे हटत नव्हते आणि याचा अनुभव देखील.
Sometimes he used to suggest us on different policies and he used to tell us on different financial issues, but everything, each and every decision we took together.
हा महाराष्ट्रासाठी होता. त्यांनी प्रतिनिधित्व
His whole political experience was for the people of Maharashtra.
शेवटचा प्रश्न, जे काय जसा हा जो विमान अपघात झाला ज्या प्रकारे काय वाटतं याची चौकशी व्हायला हवी आणि येणाऱ्या काळामध्ये असे अपघात होऊ नये त्यामुळे
बिलकुल याची शेवटी आमच्या सहकार्याचा जीव याच्यामध्ये गेला आहे. 6 लोक मृत्युमुखी पडलेले आहेत. त्यामुळे या विमान अपघाताची चौकशी नक्कीच व्हायला पाहिजे, नक्कीच होईल.
We have lost one of
यापुढे देखील अशा प्रकारचे अपघात होता कामा नये.
There must be a thorough inquiry in this matter, and in upcoming time this kind of incident should not be happening, and the inquiry must be there.
बहुत ही आज महाराष्ट्र के लिए एक काला दिन कहूँ, एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना, ऐसी घटना जो हर एक के एक दिल को दुखाने वाली घटना आज महाराष्ट्र में घटी है. हमारे सहयोगी अजीत दादा पवार जी का प्लेन एक्सीडेंट में दुर्दैवी मृत्यु हुई है. ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही बेहद दुखद है और महाराष्ट्र के लिए भी दुखद है, उनके परिवार के लिए तो बहुत ही दुखद है. और अजीत दादा एक स्पष्ट वक्ता के रूप में जाने जाते थे, एक रोक टोक बोलने वाले देखता हूँ, करता हूँ, ऐसे शब्द उनके डिक्शनरी में नहीं थे। जो होना है वो तुरंत करते थे, जो नहीं होना है उसे साफ ना कहते थे। लेकिन वो कड़े शब्दों में कहते भी, लेकिन मन के बहुत अच्छे थे और इसका अनुभव मैंने लिया है। उनके मुख्यमंत्री कार्यकाल में मैंने मंत्री के रूप में काम किया। मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तभी उन्होंने उप मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में काम किया। आज देवेंद्र जी मुख्यमंत्री है, उनमें भी हम दोनों ने उप मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में काम किया है। हम टीम बनकर काम कर रहे थे, महाराष्ट्र को आगे बढ़ा रहे थे। इसमें एक हमारा टीम वर्क था और मेरा काम करने का तरीका जैसे देर रात तक काम करता था। अजीत दादा जल्दी सुबह उठकर उनकी शुरुआत होती थी। देवेंद्र जी भी दिन भर काम करते और सुबह उन्होंने 6 बजे अपॉइंटमेंट दी हुई, ये भी इस राज्य के अधिकारियों को पता है। एक समय को बहुत ही महत्व देने वाले एक कद्दावर, बहुत ही कर्मठ नेता जो है, समय सूचकता रखने वाले नेता जो है, ये नेता हमारे में से अभी नहीं रहे और ये हमारा और महाराष्ट्र का, उनके परिवार का बहुत काफ़ी बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। उनको कई अलग अलग विभाग जो है उन्होंने काम किया, उस पर उनको अनुभव था। हर एक विभाग की जानकारी लेके वो अपना स्टेटमेंट करते थे, अपना निर्णय लेते थे। मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तब लाडली बहन योजना या कई योजनाएं हमने तीनों ने मिलकर टीम बनकर शुरू कर दी। उसमें भी अजीत दादा ने बहुत ही योगदान दिया हुआ है। और जैसे अर्थव्यवस्था जो है हमारी महाराष्ट्र की, वो उसके बारे में भी कभी कभी बहुत ही रोक टोक मंत्रिमंडल में उन्होंने बताया भी कि हमारी परिस्थिति ऐसी है, हमें कुछ यहाँ इसमें जोड़ तोड़ करनी पड़ेगी। लेकिन जब जो चीज करनी ही है, जो समाज के लिए आवश्यक है, उसमें
All right, so that is the first information, the first reaction that is coming in from the Maharashtra government. The news of the death of the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra was announced by the DGCA. This is the first official reaction coming in by the other Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Eknath Shinde. Both Mr. Eknath Shinde and the Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis, would be making their way to Baramati, as is the bereaved family of Mr. Ajit Pawar, who right now are at Sharad Pawar's residence. They would be making their way in a private jet. Sunetra Pawar, who's a Rajya Sabha MP, Parth Pawar, who is the son of Ajit Pawar, Supriya Sule, who is the cousin sister of Ajit Pawar, devastated right now at Sharad Pawar's residence. But the latest news break that is coming in, I just want our viewers to go through that. Inside details have now emerged on what really happened right before the crash. Now, Ajit Pawar's flight took off at about 8:10 a.m. from Mumbai. The flight was on way to Baramati, where he was to address a political rally. Reports suggest the flight disappeared from the radar at 8:45 a.m. So once again, to take our viewers through the sequence of events, 8:10 a.m. is when the flight had taken off from Mumbai, was bound to Baramati. 8:45 a.m. that flight disappears from the radar. The pilots cite poor visibility before landing. So one of the reasons that now we have been given to understand was poor visibility. That was the reason that was cited by the pilot before landing. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, as well as what we've been given to understand, 6 others have been killed on board that ill-fated crash. But there are larger questions, viewers, that will be raised and should be raised, because this particular chartered aircraft, a Learjet, had a very dodgy flying history, to be precise. 2023, it was involved in an incident which once again raised question marks on the safety standard of this particular jet. Why was it still operational? Why was it given safety clearances? Are lots of questions that need to be answered. And the sad fallout of all of that is for everyone to see. Heartbreaking, 7 lives lost. including the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar on board that ill-fated flight. I want to bring in my colleague Amit, who's joining us for a larger understanding. Amit, can you take us through on the questions now that are being raised on this particular Learjet and the dodgy flying history in 2023? It was involved in an incident after which there should have been many checks and balances before this Learjet was allowed to fly again.
Preeti, we have more details coming in at this point in time. The name of the pilots who were flying that craft have been confirmed to us. India Today has exclusive details of the pilots who were flying the craft. So it is Sumit Kapoor as well as Sambhavi Pathak. Now, VSR Aviation's VK Singh told me very specifically in exclusive information as to how these pilots were flying the craft. The VSR Aviation maintains that they had a fair amount of experience of flying the craft. And the VSR Aviation also told India Today that possibly there was poor visibility because of which this crash might have happened. But they are saying that let the DGCA probe the matter and come up with a statement, obviously, because they are also in question right now. The VSR Aviation has to answer a lot of questions. However, the VSR Aviation's VK Singh is maintaining that the craft was safe and that is why it was operational. But we need to tell our viewers at this point in time that not only the same aircraft model, but also the same company. So same company, same aircraft model had faced incident back in 2023. Obviously, there would be a lot of questions as to why, whether there were detailed investigation and whether this aviation company was reprimanded or not. It was a
But
charter
Amit,
craft,
when an aircraft is cleared to fly VVIPs, whether it's the Chief Minister or the Deputy Chief Minister, there are very strict parameters. Are you saying that neither the Maharashtra government nor the aviation authorities nor the pilots or the company followed these very strict guidelines on aviation safety when it came to this particular aircraft? Because anyways with VVIPs, there are stricter parameters.
Well, Gaurav, we need to also understand this. When you have charter crafts flying in, flying out from one airport to the other airport, more so for electoral rallies and political purposes, sometimes a lot of it is also self-assessment by the company as well. So the self-declarations that are submitted by the companies which own the craft goes to the DGC, and that is why you would also go through as to how several action or the crackdown had happened in Uttarakhand as well. If you would remember the chopper crashes that happened as part of chopper crash that happened in Uttarakhand, and incidents that were reported in Uttarakhand, it had triggered cracking the whip by the DGC, and after which they had found that there were a lot of troubles in the self-declarations that were made by the companies. So we'll have to wait at this point in time as to whether the norms were followed properly or not. But there's no denial that there was an incident with the same company, same aircraft model back in 2023.
Okay.
And whether there are any lapses or not, that needs to be, we'll have to wait for the DGCA to come up with a statement. But we can certainly tell our viewers at this point in time, two very important names, Sumit Kapoor and Sambhavi Pathak. These were the ones who were flying that craft. They were on board. Mr. Pawar and two of his security guard staff were also on board, and the DGC has confirmed to us there are no survivors on this craft, which means...
So, Amit, you're saying there were five
yes.
people on board, including two pilots,
Yes.
the OSD and the PSO of the Deputy Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister himself. So, five people on board that ill-fated craft. That's what you're saying? Are you confirming that figure for us?
Yes, Preeti, there were five people on board. So the ministry sources have very clearly also informed, given us these details on the people who were on board. I have been told by the DGCA that there were Mr. Pawar was on board. There were three passengers in total. Two of the crew, which is the two pilots. So Sumit Kapoor and Sambhavi Pathak, both of them flying. They couldn't survive this crash, and Mr. Pawar couldn't survive the crash. The other two who were on board were the staffers of Mr. Pawar, including the PSO. So there are no survivors. 5 people were on board, and VSR Aviation is saying they are suspecting that this accident is possibly because of the poor visibility. But they are also saying that we are waiting for the DGCA to carry on the probe and come up with the details of the fact. They are also waiting for the information to come up from the ATC.
So
That
stay with
what
us,
the
Amit.
owner of
Let's also bring into this conversation Captain Sanjay Karve, who joins us on this broadcast as an aviation expert. Captain Karve, welcome. Your reading, based on just very initial information that's coming in as the aircraft came in to land, it was in the final 45 seconds just before touchdown that it appears to have veered right. Autopilot disengaged is preliminary information, and instead of runway 27, it crash landed on the apron and exploded.
It's a very sad way to begin a day with a news like this where there are fatalities, and my condolences to the families of all the victims, that is the crew and the Deputy CM and his staff. If you look at the pictures, prima facie, you can rule out certain things. One, the aircraft was obviously cleared by the engineers at Mumbai. They knew that the Deputy Chief Minister was flying. There are specific separate circulars issued by Ministry of Home Affairs and the DGCA when flying VIPs during election time. That's a
सीएम अजीत पवार जो है एक विमान दुर्घटना में उनकी मौत हुई है। बारामती वासियों को जैसे ही ये खबर मिलती है तो बहुत सारे लोग जो है यहाँ पर उन्हें देखने के लिए आए हैं। फिलहाल इस घटना में 6 लोगों की मौत होने की खबर मिल रही है और ये सुबह 8:45 बजे की घटना है। 8:45 बजे अजीत पवार जो है बारामती पहुंचे थे और बारामती में आज उनके जिला परिषद चुनाव के लिए 4 सभाएं आयोजित की गई थी, जिसके लिए अजीत पवार जो है पुणे बंबई से बारामती के लिए रवाना हुए थे। बारामती पहुंचते ही विमानतल के पास धावपट्टी के पास ये दुर्घटना हुई है। यहाँ पर देखिए कि इतना बड़ा हादसा हुआ है जहाँ पर ये विमान जो है मलबे में तब्दील हुआ है और फिलहाल बारामती वासियों के लिए बहुत बड़ा सदमा है, क्योंकि अजीत पवार बारामती के बहुत ही चहेता नेता थे और इस दुर्घटना में उनकी मौत हुई है। फिलहाल हम यहाँ के लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे। क्या बताएंगे कि क्या हुआ, दुर्घटना हुई है, क्या हुआ?
सर ये दुर्घटना बनते समय मैं उधर ही था। वो प्लेन ठीक से चल रही नहीं था, ऐसा लग रहा था प्लेन क्रैश हो जाएगा। ऐसा इतना नीचा गया कि वो गांव में गिर जाएगा ऐसा लग रहा था, लेकिन वो एयर ट्रैप पे आ गया, लेकिन उस एयर ट्रैप पे उतरा नहीं, बाजू में क्रैश हो गया है। उसके बाद आ गया तो उससे बाद हमने देखा वो हमें आ गए दौड़ के उधर। हमने देखा कि उधर पहले स्फोट हो गया उसका पेट्रोल का उसके, और वो उस पेट्रोल के स्फोट के बाद हमने देखा कि किसका है, लेकिन समझ में आ गया दादा का ही प्लेन है। तो हमें बहुत बुरा और बड़ा सदमा हुआ हमारे साथ, और यह हम बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकते। हम देख के ये बोल नहीं सकते, इतना ही हमें दुख हुआ है, लेकिन ये बहुत बुरा है साथ।
ये घटना जब सामने आई, जब आपने देखा कि अजीत पवार का ये विमान था, जब आपको मालूम हुआ तब यहाँ पर कितने लोग मौजूद थे और कितने लोगों को ये सब
दादा को लेने के लिए एयरपोर्ट पे जो कार्यकर्ता वगैरह थे, वो पुलिस भी थे, वो जल्दी आ गए, इधर आ गए, सभी आ गए। लेकिन ये स्फोट होने के बाद उसका ज्वाला उसके आग बढ़ गई, उसके कारण इमीडिएट कोई आग अंदर जाके कोई कोऑपरेट नहीं कर सकता, कोई हेल्प नहीं कर सकता। वो उसके एक से बाद एक ऐसे 4-5 स्फोट हो गए उसका स्फोट होने के बाद और अग्निशमन गाड़ी आ गई। तो अग्निशमन गाड़ी आने के बाद वो आग पूरी बुझा के उसको बाद में उसके निकालना पड़ा। तब तक वो कोई तो हेल्प नहीं कर सकता अंदर जाके, इतना बड़ा।
जब आपने पहली बार देखा कि अजीत पवार यहाँ पर लैंडिंग हो रहे थे, यहाँ पर ट्रेनिंग विमान जो है वो भी चलते रहते हैं, 2 ट्रेनिंग सेंटर है, आपको क्या लगा?
पहले तो ऐसा लगा रहा कि ये पायलट ट्रेनिंग सेंटर है, कारवार एविएशन और रेड बर्ड एविएशन, दोनों पायलट ट्रेनिंग सेंटर के जो एरोप्लेन होते हैं छोटे वाले, वो ट्रेनिंग वाले, वो गिरते हैं बहुत बार, 2-3 बार हमने देखा है। तो ऐसा लगा कि उसका ही विमान गिर गया, हमें लगा नहीं कि दादा का विमान है ये, लेकिन हमें लगा कि ये पायलट ट्रेनिंग वाले का विमान गिर गया, हमें ऐसा लगा।
तो और भी कुछ लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे। यहाँ पर क्या क्या महसूस हो रहा है? जो कार्यकर्ता है यहाँ पर देखिए कि यहाँ पर देखिए कि कार्यकर्ता जो है वो बहुत ही सदमे में है, और इस हादसे से अजीत पवार पूरी तरह लैंड हुए। यहाँ पर देखिए कि अजीत पवार का विमान क्रैश होने के बाद अब उनकी इस दुर्घटना में मौत है। उनके साथ लगभग विमान में 5 लोग सवार थे, उनकी भी दर्दनाक मौत हुई है। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो यहाँ पर ये ट्रैक है, ये जहाँ पर ये ट्रैक है जहाँ पर विमान को उतरना चाहिए था, पर यहाँ विमान नहीं उतर पाया। और ये दावपट्टी छोड़कर, ये दावपट्टी देख रहे हैं हम।
All right, so ground reports coming in. What we've been given to understand, in totality, there are 5 people who've perished in this plane crash, including the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. Joining me right now is Rajdeep Sardesai, somebody who has followed the career path of 66-year-old Ajit Pawar, spoken with him many times. And Rajdeep, to reflect today, sadly, on the legacy of Ajit Dada Pawar, 6th term, the longest serving Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. How would you look back?
Well, you look at Ajit Pawar as someone who really was, in a sense, a regional satrap, someone who had a complete control over Baramati in particular. He was the one who I recall in the early 90s when Sharad Pawar moved to Delhi, took control of the administration of his home constituency. He was someone who you could wake up at 5:30 in the morning and go to his house, and you'd have streams of people out there, and Ajit Pawar would be meeting each and every one of them. So he was a politician connected to the grassroots in that sense. And that, I think, was what made him such a durable figure in Maharashtra politics. I think those in Mantralaya, I remember the administration officials would tell me that he was a very fine administrator in the sense that the moment you gave him any department, Ajit Pawar made sure that he had complete knowledge of that particular department. Yes, he had his many critics over his style of functioning, but I would like to remember Ajit Pawar from that 2024 campaign when at a dinner he spoke out so freely in a manner that I had never seen, spoke about his love for cricket as a young boy in Mumbai, spoke about his great affection for agriculture, for the land that he belonged to. And I think that was that grassroots connect that made Ajit Pawar. He was an institution builder, much like his uncle Sharad Pawar. But Sharad Pawar relied on Ajit Pawar to, in a way, build this bastion, this fortress that they had, the Pawar family.
Rajdeep, what happens to the NCP now? I mean, Ajit Dada Pawar didn't follow his father in films. He followed his uncle into politics, then split the party when he said that to serve people, you have to be in power. There was some talk that the party may come back together, Rajdeep?
Yes, that I think is a very interesting question to which there are no easy answers, Gaurav. To be very honest, the NCP that broke away revolved around the personality of Ajit Pawar. Had he not engineered that revolt, I don't think many of the others would have split so easily from the NCP. So now that he's no longer with us tragically, I think the NCP, a section of them could well go to the BJP and another group would coalesce around the original Pawar family. But Ajit Pawar himself, in that sense, has left no real family legacy. I don't think his children, in a sense, have that position within the party. So therefore, each individual leader now within the NCP will have to make his or her choice. Some of them, I believe, will go with the BJP. A section could go back to Sharad Pawar. And where that leaves the NCP is a big question. Remember, in the recent municipal elections, the NCP suffered a huge political setback. Yes. And therefore, the task of rebuilding the NCP now won't be an easy one at all.
Rajdeep, to reflect on the void that Ajit Pawar leaves in local Maharashtra politics, I think over the years, one thing was very clear, Rajdeep, that you've reflected on yourself multiple times, that Supriya Sule was the face of the centre, Ajit Pawar to handle the party in the state and be the face where the state was concerned. Now, You have a Rohit Pawar, but how do you fill that void now?
Well, Rohit Pawar is certainly one of the names that could well become a leader of the future. But at the moment, the fact is that the NCP is a party a little drifting a bit.
Rajdeep, give me a moment. President Draupadi Murmu is addressing the joint session of Parliament. We're just cutting across.
माननीय सदस्योगण, मेरी सरकार ने एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर के आधुनिकीकरण के लिए और बेहतर लॉजिस्टिक्स निर्माण के लिए एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड की व्यवस्था भी की है। मुझे ये साझा करते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि इसके जरिए अब तक 1.25 लाख करोड़ रुपया से अधिक का निजी निवेश आकर्षित हुआ है। इससे युवाओं के लिए रोजगार के लाखों नए मार्ग भी सृजित हुई है। सरकार की दूरदर्शी